Dale, if you're live right now, anything you want to say is, going out here. I see somebody. There's Art right there.
Hey.
Okay, now when you tell us, Dale, tell us everything.
Approximately 78% no, 22% yes.
78% no. %78 no. Hallelujah.
Hi. Thank you very much, Art Harvey. This is the same Art Harvey who's having trouble measuring forward. Okay, so the answer here is registered voters, 19,620. Ballots returned, 8,790. Voter turnout, 44, almost 45%. Yes, 1,032. 21. No.
You're cutting out.
No votes are 78%. 100%. Overvotes, there were just 2. Undervotes, only 3 in the entire election.
Yeah, look at the camera as you're speaking. Otherwise, you're cutting out.
Well, okay, we're going to try. And so the answer is, remember earlier when I had said, wouldn't it be great if it was 80%, just as it was with the junk ordinances? Well,
yeah,
buddy, this is 78%.
Awesome.
I think that's a pretty strong reaction.
That's fairly definitive there. I like it. All right.
Now
Excellent.
we are going to try to proceed across the street as Mike continues to talk during our live show, and it's a little dark there because this is the live show. And Viken is going to try walking ahead of me so that I can walk and talk at the same time. I think I can do both.
That's going to be fascinating.
Walk backwards and not trip. We either are going to get great footage that's dark, or you're going to get the footage from us involved in the evening's first traffic fatality. Let's find out. Let's go.
I hope not. Yes.
78% no.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is totally awesome.
Daily Courier, tell you the news sometime tomorrow, perhaps.
Oh, it's yes, that's great picture there. Starting to get dark.
It's probably a little dark, but I'll just keep talking as we're walking here.
Okay.
A really good job of walking backwards.
Right.
I had asked a couple different people if they wanted to join us here at the foot of the stairs to the courthouse. They weren't sure that they wanted to do that. Maybe they weren't sure how it was going to turn out. One other thing that you might want to know, I'm going to bring out the one-eyed monkey on the balloon. If the one-eyed monkey hanging from a balloon is right every single election, come around the 8th, 9th, 10th election, you might want to pay attention to that monkey.
I have no idea what that means, Dale, but that's fascinating.
And I keep telling you how these votes are going to turn out.
I'm sorry.
And we've been right 100% of the time. Never.
Huh?
About an election. Not
yeah,
ever.
go ahead.
We were right.
Nice.
And
Okay.
this election, we're going to need to have a little silent applause for Beacon here. He's doing a great job of walking backwards.
Yes, that's right. That's fantastic. That's skill.
Now, I'm going to go inside Republican headquarters. Neither Mike nor I are Republicans, but they've been very gracious in providing a place for us to be and to also show you what leaders they are in opinion in the area. So let's go on.
Yes. Absolutely.
Are there any happy people?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Hey, and okay, Dale, get on there and continue your commentary while I take care of some business.
So, well, oh, God, that's really loud in my ears. Okay, so we're live, as you can tell. And once again, kind of like, was it Punxsutawney Phil, where they take that groundhog out of the ground every year and he always does something?
Yeah.
Once again, Art Harvey walked right past us and refused to give us any copy of anything.
Isn't that
But
nice?
that's okay, because we're bringing the news now. Bill Kangas, would you please come over and join us? Now, we've got a major announcement to make about Bill Kangas. You're going to want to hear this major announcement about Bill Kangas.
Okay. Bill, put those headphones on and push that mic right up to him, will you? And I'm not sure which one it is, so give me some level on it.
No, I can't hear him either.
Okay.
He's going to get there eventually.
Yeah.
You're all going to want to hear this announcement from Bill Kangas. It's not just about this election. It's about something also very important.
Okay. Still not getting it here, so
No.
get right on it.
No. No.
Okay, you're going to have to use the other mic.
Sorry, sorry. Where the other one, if you will, please? Can people in the back room hear this announcement from Bill Kangas?
They can if he... Here, let's get a mic check on you.
Hello, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I can hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Bill Kangas was a city councilor back when they had the big Saturday night massacre, when they got rid of a bunch of city councilors and said, we're tired of you, we don't like you, and we're going to recall you. Bill Kangas, you know that Mark Gatlin has decided as a city councilor that he no longer wants to be one, and Lily Morgan has decided she no longer wants to be a city councilor. Bill Kangas is stepping up to the microphone. Bill, you're going to be asking to be appointed to be a city councilor representing which ward, sir?
Northeast.
Northeast.
Yeah, I'll fill out an application when they post it in the paper, and I think it takes a few weeks. So.
Now, you're aware they've probably already picked their favorite people, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's okay. I just want to let them know that I'm still alive. So.
I can testify, Bill is still alive.
So, yeah.
That's excellent. Now, you're doing it, I would think, for two different reasons. Free advertisement for something cola. You're doing it for two reasons. One is to let everybody know that you care, and the other is to irritate the current city council.
No, I wouldn't say that. I just want to let them know I'm alive, and I'm sure they have somebody in mind. But at least I'll, I was on the council for almost 4 years. I was on the planning commission for a year. Never missed a meeting. Read every packet. Went to every place that we voted on. Didn't talk to anybody on the planning commission and the council to make sure it was safe. I never voted for anything development unless it was safe, or any issue came up. I went, made sure, and I supported the small businesses in town 100%. One issue came up, I remember, probably 2008, maybe 9, where a gentleman from Rogue River Highway had a shop behind another building, and he had a sign out there so they could see him from the highway. And the city put out, said, we need to take that sign down. It doesn't meet code. So I personally talked to the gentleman. And one of the statements I made, and I've made it several times on the council, is the city council is not in the business of putting businesses out of business. We're here to help the businesses thrive because they're the heart of our city. Small business for sure. So.
Well, you're joined by nearly 80% of the population of Grants Pass in making that decision.
Yes.
All right, so we're not just about telling you about old news, because now let's see, it's about 10 minutes old.
Right.
And now we're talking about what the future is going to be.
Right,
Bill,
right.
tell just one more thing about the past, Bill. Tell us
Okay.
about this river project, the one that got you, got so many people upset in
Right.
some parts of our community and then led to them all saying goodbye to you. What happened with that?
With the River District? Are you
Yes.
talking about? Yeah. What happened is they gave us a packet of 1,130 pages, and on a Monday, and wanted to have us, Fraser and Laurel wanted us to have us read by Wednesday.
David Fraser and Laurel Sampson.
Right. And I did. I read it, and I found on the Brown page 1,103 or something like that, the cost was $58 million to the citizens.
58 million to the
58
citizens of
million.
Grants Pass?
Yes. I still have the packet somewhere. And so I brought it up at the next council meeting on Wednesday, and the councilors hadn't read it, most of them. And they said, well, that can't be right. And I showed them. They all turned to the page, and so they postponed the vote. And in the meantime, it was a 6-2 vote all the time. Lisa Berger and myself were two minorities on the council. And so what we did is went and got an initiative from the state referendum and got it signed enough signatures in a week.
So you wanted to put it on the ballot for the
Right.
people of Grants Pass to
Right.
decide.
And if the council would have voted for it, they could have decided yes, then it would have went to a vote of the people.
Right.
But the councils decided not to vote yes.
Now, why would they do that, Bill? Come on.
They knew the people were turning it down, so we knew.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway. Yeah.
So they just had to boot you out.
Oh,
They
yeah.
just had to start a recall. Yeah,
Well, that wasn't over that, but that was the beginning.
that was the beginning.
Yeah.
And we said goodbye to Ward Warren
Right.
and to you
Right.
and to Rob Pell,
Right.
to,
Lisa Berger.
yes.
One more.
Who was the one more? I said you already.
Yeah, you got me. Lisa, Ward, Rob Pell.
And I'm always misplacing these guys' names, and I don't know why. This one in particular, I wanted him to come on tonight's show here. I can't remember. Do you remember?
Yeah, but you'll have to come up with it.
Oh, man. That's nice. Well, good night, everybody.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There was 5 of us.
Yeah. All right. So you're throwing your hat in the ring.
Yes, I'll fill out the application
Good.
when they announce it, and we're able to put it in. And they need 3 applications. at
Well,
least.
now
So-
once you were gone,
Mhm.
they appointed people.
Right.
And then it turned out where they needed more. And so
Right.
some of the appointed people
Right.
were picking appointed people.
Right.
What a strange city council that was at the time.
It was an unusual, probably situation that nobody's ever heard of, but it happened. So
Bill, thank you for coming on tonight's show. Thanks for sticking up. I mean, Bill's the kind of guy, he gets up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And we're lucky to still have him here alive and kicking with us in several ways, but he's got many more years ahead of him. What I meant is for tonight only, but okay.
I
So,
did want to mention one thing.
Please.
Maybe you haven't heard that David Fraser was fired. in
yes,
Oregon City.
yes, we've
So,
heard that.
that's
Ocean
just-
City, they
yeah.
they couldn't put up with that guy.
Oregon City.
Oregon City,
And
that's not Ocean. Ocean City's in
That's the
Maryland. Sorry.
fourth city he was fired from.
Wow.
So I had to throw that in.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
one other thing I would say, I was opposed to the sales tax for the small businesses and the business owners. I walked around and talked to managers,
Yes.
owners. I talked
Roy
to
Lindsay
the
said he
people.
did the same, and he was able to convince half of them. It was a great idea.
No, I found nobody that was for it. I do have to say this. I have to give the council credit for trying to do something. It was, in my opinion, it was the wrong thing to do. The people, I felt after walking around, and that's how I got elected. I went to 1,000 homes when I ran in 2006. But I felt the people just did not want this. And I wrote a few letters to the editor and, and put some signs out and totally supported a no on the sales tax. But the counselors believed and got the wrong information, I believe, but they made a decision, and that's what councils do. And sometimes they're right, sometimes they're not.
Thank you for your time, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
We're going to have Vivian
Thank
Kirkpatrick Tolger come up and talk to us also
Okay.
about what she thinks. Don't forget to take your headset off
Okay.
before you go.
Thank you.
Somebody's phone keeps whistling in the background.
Just turn the sound down.
Good golly.
Good God. Where do I sit?
Right there.
Right here?
Yes, ma'am.
Do I put the little headphones on?
You put the little headphones on. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. These are so fun. They crunch my hair.
Looking good tonight, Vivian.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, that's upside down.
What's not working?
On that side, it's upside down.
Okay. Like this.
There you go.
Maybe it'll work that way.
Yes, probably. So Mike, Mike's going to join us in a moment. So Vivian, this is what the opponents to the sales tax wanted. They wanted a clear answer. What would have been, in your opinion, the result if it was 51-49?
Oh, they would have done it again. They would have put another one on the ballot.
Well, as Mark Bartholomew told us in court, we forced him into court, he said that the city council, they don't need our vote at all. I mean, they could do, according to Mark Bartholomew, they could put it on there tomorrow. They could pass it tomorrow. Maybe less likely to do that now that nearly 80% of the population of Grants Pass says no, thank you.
Yes, you know, those little cardboard things I got in my car, the pitchforks and the torches.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
pretty sure we'd see those marching around City Hall.
Now, one of the things that we can be sure about is that other cities in Oregon, other counties in Oregon were watching this very carefully because Grants
Yes.
Pass was going to be sales tax city, buddy. And they were going to be watching that and saying, gee, maybe we could do that same kind of thing. Won't that be exciting? It looks less likely that they're going to adopt this plan now.
Yes, it was very exciting for us tonight when it came out 78% no. That's exciting.
Well, I was across the street, so I missed the song that you guys sang last time, whatever
We
song that
didn't- we
was. You didn't sing a
sing,
song
no,
this
no.
time?
There was
but-
just a yelling and screaming and hallelujah. So
Right. So it looks like, once again, the Republican Central Committee, the Republican Party, I'm not one of them, and neither is Mike. We're both unaffiliated. But it looks like the Republican Party was right once again about the result of a vote.
yes, we were.
And leading the way of that was the Republican Women's Caucus, Republican Women's.
Josephine County
Task Force.
Republican Women.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. And
Yes.
you're ahead of that.
Yes, I am the president of the Josephine County Republican Women.
So what was it that convinced you folks that this was going to be, as opposed to what some people said, it was not even close? I'm looking over at Sandy Casanelli. Oh no, are we going to lose? Oh, I'm sorry. Is someone going to lose? Yes, someone's going to lose every time.
Wasn't it? Wasn't
So
business.
as opposed to that, what convinced you and the leadership of first the Republican women and then of the Republican Central Committee that this idea was a loser?
Well, you don't want to put the businesses out of town. We've already got a lot of empty storefronts all over, 6th and 7th Street. Why do you want to tax your businesses and make more problems for them? They're already, regulated, practically out of business anyway.
Right.
So am I not close enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to get right on those mics.
Got to get right
Yeah.
on them. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, why would you want to put your businesses out of business? I mean, that's just crazy. And a lot of the businesses here were very opposed to it. Unlike previous taxes, like the tax levies on the property, which many of the businesses supported in town. But when it came down to taxing the businesses, it was quite different. They felt it then. And so I think they'll have a little more compassion for the homeowners and taxpayers that own property when it comes down to those kind of taxes in the future. The businesses may not be so fast. We stepped up and we stepped into the game. The Republicans, even though they had supported other taxes, the businesses had, and we went to work for them. And there was a coalition of people that came in and made phone calls from 6 to 8 p.m. many nights in October. We reached about 4,000 people, and out of those 4,000 people, about 80% of them were saying, no, we're voting no, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, you name it. So
Don't let Rob Pell get away, please.
where'd he go? Yeah, get Rob Pell.
Rob Pell, don't go away, sir. He's
Get
going
him
away.
down here.
He'll
Get
be
him
back.
down.
First, he's got to go shake some hands. Vivian,
Mhm.
now what's going to happen?
You want a prediction?
Yeah, that's more important actually than what happened tonight is what's going to happen next. We've already seen the Channel 10 story, the first of three, I think, Mike, where Channel 10 is saying, oh, the sheriff is, everything is so desperate in Josephine County. This is a Jackson County TV station telling us everything's desperate here and something really needs to be done. It sounds like they're ramping up for the next tax.
That's it? Oh, gosh.
Would you
Can't
like to
imagine.
see that video?
I'd like to see that video.
Okay, let me see if I can bring that video up for us here.
Live show. It's live.
Yes, it's live.
It's alive.
It is,
You guys are funny.
it might be alive.
Well, we try.
Let's see what we can do.
This is
easy
it.
getting a Josephine County Sheriff's deputy to respond to an emergency. Back in 2007, the sheriff's budget was slashed, cutting deputies and departments within the sheriff's office. Public safety levies have been defeated 6 different times since then. Last year, citizens elected a new sheriff, Dave Daniel. He says it's not easy to cover as much ground in the county as he would like to, but it wasn't always the case.
We used to have upwards of 35 deputies here in Josephine County, and they run a 24/7 with the detectives division. But that's
Gosh,
just
it looks like he's putting a
no
lot of
longer.
weight on.
Recent events in the county have put the lack of law enforcement back in the spotlight. There have been at least 4 fatal traffic accidents and 5 shootings since June. Daniel says having more patrol deputies could have prevented some of these from occurring.
You get the more drunks out driving because they're not stopped. You get the person that may go into somebody's house and commit murder because you maybe caught them driving, earlier or driving recklessly, that sort of thing.
The Josephine County Sheriff's Office currently has 8 patrol deputies. Daniel says they work 7 days a week, but not 24 hours a day. Oregon State Police is available to respond to calls after hours, but only for life-threatening situations.
It can be difficult sometimes to have deputies go from one side of the county to the other to respond to calls.
That's what's disheartening for us. We certainly don't mind doing it, but it's hard on the deputies as well to be able to almost be handcuffed themselves, which is really unfortunate.
The lack of law enforcement is also disheartening for citizens. Kayla Guthrie says she doesn't normally see more than 1 patrol car in Cave Junction.
I have an 8-month-old daughter, and it's kind of worries me that we have no law enforcement. I feel like this town's getting worse, and I want it to be more protective as she grows up.
Guthrie says there are problems she sees that law enforcement could cut down on.
And we've had quite a few crashes lately. People getting their houses broken into, their cars broken into. We've had a couple people killed, people murdered. And I just feel like if we actually have a cop around here, maybe people will realize that we have someone looking over us.
Followed by a wagon load over behind the Waldo Hotel.
Roger Ramsey used to live in the county and says he experienced long response times.
You're just pretty much on your own out there unless it's a very, very serious situation. And this was back in the 80s, and it hasn't gotten any better. I live here in town now and feel a little safer.
Safety that may not improve in the county unless the citizens take more action. Covering your news.
See, I wonder
Will
what kind of
Metzel,
action they're
News
talking
10.
about. So, Vivian, what do you think about that video that we just watched there?
Yeah, that would be Rob. This is Rob.
Oh, that's Rob.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Not Vivian. You just called him Vivian.
I know that. It was a joke.
Oh.
I'll pass out some explanations after the show. So, Rob Pell, you were a Grants Pass city councilor. You follow what the city is doing very carefully. You have lots of things to say about their actions. What do you have to say about their actions tonight?
I'm not going to say as much about their actions as I will about the actions of my fellow business owners and fellow leaders of the community. I have to say that I've never seen, there are many businesses downtown who never have anything political on their window. Hart Jeweler, the Kitchen Company, Never Bum Steer, Don's Bikes, Chuck King Jeweler. I mean, the list goes on and on. Evangel Bookstore, they never had anything political on their window. And every one of them had a vote no sign on the window for this.
Evangel Bookstore had a vote no sign in their window.
They did, and they were very, very concerned about this passing.
Well,
they actually had a big banner in their window.
78%, you have to feel pretty vindicated at this point.
Yeah, our goal, actually, the very first planning meeting that I was at with Colleen Martin and Rick Chapman and Lowell Gibson, I turned to everyone in that room and I says, okay, we want to win, but we don't just want to win, we want to crush this thing so it doesn't come back. Several years ago when the restaurant tax went down, about a year or two after that, David Frazier joked, the city manager at that time, he joked, he said, I'll never make that mistake again because it was a 77% defeat. Well, of course, you get a new city manager and he doesn't know about that mistake, I guess. But we wanted to make it so that they don't even think of bringing this thing back for another decade or more. And I think that we achieved our goal.
The council talked a lot about how they knew that they were risking their political capital. How did that risk turn out for them?
I don't know. I wouldn't take, I guess, those odds to Vegas. You know, they didn't do so well, I don't think. But, you know, it wasn't really since, I haven't seen something like this since the late 90s when city manager at that time, Bill Peterson, along with ODOT, they tried to remove, they did their darndest to remove 384 parking spaces on 6th Street, which would have killed the downtown. They were going to cut the sidewalks in half, remove 384 parking spaces. What would that have done? Especially at that time, the big boxes had just opened up. And that was the last time I saw this kind of unanimity with among business people and leaders of the community. And there was a major threat at that time, and we knocked it back, and there was just as big a threat this time, and we did the same.
Now, in the courtroom that we've talked about, there were there was a lawyer and a half. There was a real lawyer, one that gets paid to be a lawyer, and there was me, right? Okay, lots of help for both sides. You were one of the prime people behind the fellow that was the real lawyer that was there. And we heard the city attorney say, it's amazing to me, he said that they don't need our vote. The city council can put a sales tax or a property tax on all of us in the city anytime they want to without a vote of the people. They could take it on, they could take it off. The 3 things that were on there, they could have negated those tomorrow, put them back on tomorrow. That has to have some kind of effect on people going into the future. I can't imagine that any company would want to move here when at any time, despite this vote tonight, the city council has the power to do that without a vote of the people. What is that then going to say to everybody out there that's thinking about potentially moving here? Why would they move here, Rob?
I think I hear what you're saying, Dale, and quite honestly, that's more than I can digest tonight. I'm just really happy about.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm looking into the future, but okay, let's celebrate.
That's almost in the Cheryl Walker nuisance ordinance range of 80%.
That's correct.
It doesn't really get any bigger than that. If you take out the few city hall employees that voted for this, nobody else voted for it.
Right.
I mean, how it looked to all of us that it was a really stupid idea that no one wanted is exactly what the people said tonight. And I actually believe that had this been on the ballot next year in the presidential election where there's a really big turnout, it would have gone down bigger. I mean, I think it'd probably be 85%.
But there are so many people who felt, well, the city voters always vote. They always vote to raise taxes. The city voters always get behind their city council. The first clue to me was when the Chamber of Commerce said no. But besides that, what does this now say about the hegemony that the city council felt that they had?
I think, and actually what a statewide leader said about 2 of the councilors that led this thing was that they just been drinking the Kool-Aid way too long. And, you know, if they're inside City Hall all the time, they really believe what the staff tells them.
Apparently they do.
They believe what the staff tells them. Matter of fact, after the very first forum, after the first forum about this, public forum, I called one of the counselors who was most adamant about pushing this tax the very next morning. And I said, well, I didn't see you there last night. Like, how are you going to know what anyone said?
Mm-hmm.
And what he told me is that, well, I just got off the phone with Jay Meredith, and he told me everything I need to know about how it went last night. He said people were very negative. And I realized, okay, this guy's in real deep, and I'm going to have to work real hard to make sure that we crush this thing.
So Jay Meredith, for those who don't know, is the finance director.
Finance director, who is really the architect.
Yeah, he is the architect of this.
So Mike, what do you think? Now that there are a couple of council positions open, aren't they most likely to follow the advice of staff once again and pick people that the staff want to be those replacements?
Yeah, sadly, and that would probably include a bunch of other people that were in favor of proposals like this one
Yes.
for the sales tax.
Let me
And
move
that's-
forward so people can
that's-
see you.
That's
Okay.
very unfortunate. You know, this is a trouncing. 78% is like, if you ever saw that in a presidential election, that's you know, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that happens under dictatorships. So you would think that that they'll put it away for a while, but I'm not convinced that people inside government think the same way that we do about things, because if they did, you'd never see a levy again here for years until probably the economy made a rebound.
I agree totally, Mike. I think that I would almost guarantee that Dan DeYoung, Roy Lindsay, Jay Meredith, and probably Aaron Kubik just believe if they could have only got the people to understand it a little better.
Yes.
Oh,
They
right.
were
Lindsay,
saying
he
this.
said that. He said that. You know, he was going around talking to people, and they were saying no without listening. And as soon as they listened to him, well, yeah, it makes plenty of sense.
In other
Mathematically,
words,
I don't think he's
they
truthful.
said yes to get rid of the guy is probably more accurate.
Yeah, it's you know, it was based on a faulty premise. I mean, the first night we got up, the first night at that public forum, the very beginning, Aaron Kubik was running the meeting, and he got up and said, Grants Pass is perfectly situated for a sales tax because we are so far away from Medford, no one will go there to avoid it. And, you know, I looked around the room, and people were just, their eyes were glazed over, thinking this is crazy talk.
Well, it's an interesting thing because I worked with SOS for a while before I found out that the only thing that they were interested in was another levy. But Jay Meredith has been on the sales tax bandwagon for years. This is his game. He really wants to get a sales tax passed in the city here. And I even helped him by doing a little podcast where he presented his idea for it. And this is in 2012.
Right.
You know, so this has been in the hopper for a while. I would hope that he would then think, okay, this is an idea that's been discredited. You know, I mean,
You think
seriously.
he's learned a lesson?
I'm not sure about it. I hope he would. You know, I mean, if he's watching this now, you know, Jay, that didn't work. Okay, don't do it again.
Here's the thing also, Mike, is that in 2012, the city actually did a survey and found out that, no, the people didn't want a sales tax.
Right.
This time around, Councillor Morgan actually asked him to do a survey.
Yes.
Colleen Martin from the chamber said, do a survey.
Right.
Why put us all through this?
And speaking of which, you know, Lily Morgan is on the line here. You guys want to have her join the conversation?
Absolutely.
Okay, Lily, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
That's great.
Are you following what's going on? You have any input on this?
Well, I think you're right. I think a survey would have been able to show what the citizens really wanted, and it would have saved some time and effort and perhaps some money if we would have gone that route and waited.
Well, you were right, Lily. You were the one that took the strongest stand currently until, oh, now how do I say this? Until just recently, currently on the city council, you were absolutely right in the stand that you took. So you're probably not dancing around chortling with joy, but on the other hand, how does it feel to be right when so many around you were wrong?
I'm actually having a hard time hearing you. Sorry about that.
Okay, what I was asking is, how's your run for commissioner going?
Well, so far it's pretty new. But again, I work, I'm young, I still have to have a full-time job, and that's really the reason why I stepped down from city council. That was my priority, is work. and I'd like to campaign for commissioner, but that has to come second to my full-time job.
Right. Now, have your duties actually increased with Lily? You've been on our show and everybody loved that appearance on our show, but have your duties increased, and would you agree that it's 1 year away, just a little over a year away to the next election? Is there a third reason? There doesn't have to be, but
I didn't hear the last part.
there doesn't have to be a third reason, but your job is keeping you busy. Yes, got that. The election's a year away. We're going to be seeing a lot of you then, I guess, right? And your campaign to be a commissioner?
I hope to. I want to learn more about the community. There's certainly a lot of people and a lot of different opinions represented in the area, and just to have an opportunity to hear what people's needs are. But really, what changed is last April I was promoted to manager over the parole officers. And supervising 13 direct employees is a lot to do. And I was having to not take part in as many committees as I had been able to in the past. And now we have a new director that started in January, and there's a lot of updating and more requirements related to that. And so that's why the duties at work are even increasing still. So it's exciting to be a part of. It's exciting to be a part of looking at the community's needs and how we can be a part of that.
I'm going to ask.
Has to be separate.
I'm going to ask Rob another question here, Lily. So Rob, when we see so many times in efforts like this, 78% no is a huge effort for people to make to turn around a voting public that typically votes for taxes of all kinds. It's a big turning point. Now that you've got that momentum, and so much of it is centered around the things that you've done, Rob, what are you going to do with all that energy of the people? Are you going to let it dissipate as happens so often?
As it were.
Are you going to let it dissipate as happens so often, or are you going to now turn that on to the next big project, like no more $100,000 bus stops?
That's a great question. I'm just going to, I guess, it's not often, I'm going to leave you guys tonight with just one thought. It's not often that I don't, in this building, Republican headquarters, anywhere in the country, that Mahatma Gandhi would be quoted. But he was pretty famous for saying, when the people lead, the leaders will follow. And I think that, hey, we led tonight. And because it was a vote, they have no chance, they have no choice but to follow.
Right.
Anyway, thanks a lot.
Nice quote.
Awesome.
Rob,
awesome.
Thank you. You've got Republicans who are applauding you. Sandy Casanelli has something to tell us. Come on over and sit down here. And then I'm hoping to have one of my favorite people, Rick, come over and talk to us. Don't let Rick get away.
Well, did you want to? Do you have anything more to say to Lily here? She's online, or you want to sit here and listen online here, Lily?
I'd like to ask Lily a question.
Oh, hang on a second. Let me turn up your mic, Sandy.
Okay.
Lily, you still there?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Sandy Casanelli wants to ask you a question.
Lily, maybe you could tell me about this. 22 people signed. Where's the camera?
Yeah. No.
22 people.
Just look over at me, and
Okay.
everything will turn out okay.
All right. 22 people filed arguments in the voters pamphlet. They cost $350 a piece so that we could have our arguments in the voters pamphlet. That was $7,700. And we got this, a piece of paper with 22 arguments typed on both sides.
That's some pretty fine print.
Pretty fine
You've got to
print.
read the fine print
on both sides. And this, how much did this cost, Sandy?
It cost the people that filed arguments $7,700.
Wow.
For it to go out to all the people in the city, I want to know, did the council decide not to have a full voters pamphlet and to just come out with this one page, or was it Art Harvey that made that decision?
That's a good question.
I am not aware of the council being involved in any decision about that.
Okay.
That also doesn't, if it happened on a meeting I missed, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I wanted to know. Thanks.
Lily, it's so gracious of you to give us some of your time. Oh, now I'm gushing. That's not good. It's certainly expected that you'd give us time, Lily Morgan, on our show tonight. Thank you for doing that. We're hoping to have you on a future show as well. That was a really popular show that you were on. And I also talked with Ron Smith. Ron Smith has put his hat in the ring to run for county commissioner, and we're going to need to have him on to talk a little bit about some of the things he wishes to do. And
right, I believe he's running for the same position that Lily is.
Okay, it just seems kind of fair that we would have him on at some point. Then, since I'm going to be running, maybe we'll have me on at some point.
Yes, right. Yeah,
okay.
That would be a change.
And not running against either one of these folks. Thank you very much, Lily.
You have a good night. Thank you.
Enjoy
we will
being right.
now. We're gonna
Enjoy being right.
We're gonna have a good night now, and I'm hoping that that Rick will come up here and join us, Rick, because you put in something in the voters pamphlet and come up and talk to us about it. I love this guy. He's not a talking guy.
He's not a talking.
Yeah,
neither are we.
Yeah, no, we're not. We never talk. You know
I don't
that.
know where
We
you
just
get
joke
the impression.
around. What's this for? That's so that you can hear us.
Yeah.
Can you hear us now?
Just like I did a second ago.
Just like he did a second ago.
Okay, so talk right up on that mic, okay?
Uh-huh.
So, Rick, without making an advertisement, tell us about the place that you run.
Oh, without making an advertisement?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be hard, huh?
Wow, Dale, I thought you were a little smarter than that.
Yes, yes.
Wow,
Okay, it's
boy.
I just play one on TV.
It's plaza sewing and quilting.
Oh, that's more than enough. Okay, now that we know that that Rick is running plazas, Rick, you put something in the voters pamphlet. You know, not all business owners did that. Not only did you have something in your window, and some of them did, but you spent the money to let people know out there what you thought about it. What was it about being a citizen in Grants Pass that made you feel that it was necessary to take that extra step when so many others didn't?
Just like I said in the ballot measure thing, that about this tax thing, my love of this town and all the businesses in this town is more important than my wallet. I could have saved thousands of dollars on the properties that I own, but it's not worth it to me. It would make our, just like I said, make our town an island.
Right, it's
in
going to
the
hurt
whole
the
state,
economy.
where people would say, don't go to Grants Pass, they got a sales tax. I don't care if it's 2% or 10%. All you got to do is say sales tax.
Right.
It don't make any difference what the percentage is.
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to rub off this label that's going to be on us for a while about being sales tax city? Won't we just continue to be? I mean, because they could bring it back anytime. Without a vote of the people.
I would hope our city leaders might be a little smarter than that.
Yeah,
So,
Now, what would give you that clue?
I don't.
maybe the percentage, which was really what I wished for.
Yes.
And so it came true.
Yeah, I don't think there's.
Mike, if this was closer, they would just turned right around and done it.
Sure, I believe you're correct about
But
that.
that's not expected. That this is a show about political analysis. Who else is doing that? Even if it's all false. Who would expect that the Grants Pass people who always vote for taxes would say no in such astounding numbers?
No, I'm pleasantly surprised. We were all worried about that earlier this evening that the city
that it wasn't going to be big enough.
Well, I think it's like I hoped, which is a lot of people are here from California or other states that have a sales tax. And I don't bet they didn't read nothing about it. All they had to know is it was a sales tax.
Yes.
Doesn't matter the percentage, they're going to say no. And I think that happened with, I'll bet you, maybe even half the voters. Because a lot of people don't read all this stuff, or they don't listen, or they don't read the paper or whatever. And so, like I say, they heard the word sales tax and said no.
Now, here's another question for you. I can understand why Rob he wanted to concentrate on the happy part. I understand that. But part of the not happy part is, why would companies, businesses want to move to Grants Pass when they now know that the Grants Pass City Council, as Mark Bartholomew, the city attorney, admitted at court, they can put this on there anytime they want to, anything like this. I didn't know that they had the power to put sales tax and property taxes on or off without a vote of the people. Where'd that power come from?
Well, I've said for years, there's lots of reasons people move to Grants Pass.
Yes, sir.
Number one, it's a great place to live.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, we got great schools and it's a great place to raise your family. And we also have low taxes in the county.
Yes, sir.
That is a selling feature, I'll bet you, to a lot of people because they come from places where they're paying, like us, 6%. Now you're going to pay 60 cents.
Right.
You know, on a house, it's like crazy. So I can go on and on about that, but I don't want to get myself in too much trouble.
Smartest guy of the evening.
You guys can get yourself in trouble. It's hard for me.
What does it matter, really?
Yeah. You know, I keep waiting for that to happen. I keep saying crazy, irresponsible stuff, and nobody ever arrests me. I'm amazed.
Well,
Maybe they just don't know where I live.
Also about moving to this town, it's a great place to live because what do you got? You got mountains, you got skiing, you got hunting, you got the river. You can be the coast in an hour and a half. You can do anything you want anywhere else in the United States from Grants Pass in 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a lake, go travel, nice roads. I mean, it's a great place to live. It's the, what do they call it? The banana belt of Oregon, right here. Grants Pass all the way to Brookings. They call it the banana belt.
Banana belt.
Nice weather. Almost all year round. We have seasons.
It's more like a banana republic sometimes. But
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So one big thing that's been lost by Cave Junction is they had the ability to put a big sign up, you know, like those last chance for gas signs. This would be last chance to buy something before you go into Tax City. It's a big loss for Cave Junction, buddy.
Big loss.
Yeah, well, they look at all the business, all those people coming in from California. What? Sales tax in Oregon? No. Hey, we better pull over and buy a car or something here now, here in Cave Junction. What a great economic boon it would have been for them.
One of my buddies owns a Dairy Queen in Cave Junction.
I've eaten at that Cave.
That's like, that's
Dairy
like the
Queen.
last good stop, you know, before you go to the coast. So
Yes.
or when you come back, you know, stop there for an ice cream.
So
or
it's
whatever.
too bad. It would have been Cave Junction's gain.
Yep.
So Rick, thank you for what you do in the community. You're still working with baseball and those folks too, right?
American Legion Baseball.
That's great.
Yep.
All right. Well, we really want to thank you for coming on. It was you didn't know you were going to be on our show.
Not at all.
We sneak up on many of our people.
Forte.
They wouldn't show up on our show unless we ambushed them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick.
Hey, and more thanks again to all the Republican Party here.
And I want to be sure
And
to
all the rest
also
of people.
we got to thank Judy Ahrens for providing so much of the food around here.
I missed out on that. I'm sure it was good.
Well, there's got to be something back there. I asked them to save at least one hot dog for me. And she's coming over to point out more things that she's done. And we also want to thank the Republican Party here.
Oh yeah. And they made us our signs. Give me those
Yes.
two big ones
Oh,
that
wow.
I personally put up out at the Parkway. I was proud of that. That was
Oh,
the
yes.
first ones to go
Oh,
up.
those are great
Yeah,
signs.
those are good.
They got a lot of attention.
And actually, I just thought tonight, I told Rob, and a big thanks to Rob Pell and
Yes.
Colleen Martin. These are big players in this whole thing.
They sure have been
Yeah.
big players.
Mhm.
Temporary allies until she starts promoting the idea of a property tax,
Yeah,
which
well,
of course
you
the
know.
Chamber of Commerce will jump straight into.
So I just told Rob, I thought of something tonight. Maybe these boys will make us a couple signs to go out and put on those big signs on the Parkway.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Above the vote
Absolutely.
no, or thank you, something to say thanks to all the people who
That's a
voted.
real good
Yeah,
idea.
that's right.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Thank you for joining
All right,
us.
thanks.
Don't forget to take off your headphones before you get up, sir.
Yeah, I won't create them off.
Okay, great. That's what happened. I ran a long time ago for something, and the day after the election was over, I stood out on that cold bridge in November. Boy, it was cold, and the water was cold, and I had a sign that just said "Thank you," and that's when my opponent at that time, who was here earlier today, drove by and yelled out his window. Oh, I say the two-word summation of his entire campaign, and it wasn't good luck.
Yes. Yes.
That guy I was with said, I'm not going to stand out there with you. You know, those guys didn't vote for you. Well, you know, that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, oh my gosh, you know,
I guess we're about done.
we're pretty much over.
Oh, thank you very much. If you want to tell us something, come up and tell us on the microphone here.
Okay. This is a way that, because they were trying to fry our merchants in town, I think this is a way we can share and shame them, is that I'm going to be going to city council like Dale does, go to city council and go to the commissioners, and anybody else out there, you should all go down and say, we are going to be supporting our local merchants 100%. We urge everybody to do their Christmas shopping early. It's just a way to shame all those terrible city councilmen and those commissioners. So if you guys want to make a 2-minute commercial, a promo, do it at your city council.
She just did. Yeah, I was just going to say,
So
she
that's-
just
That's what you do. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
As our very last guest, I'd like to have Bill Hunker on, and then we can say goodbye to everybody.
Absolutely.
So if we can convince Bill Hunker to disengage himself from whatever he's doing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to say how proud I am of all of the citizens of Grants Pass and the businesses that pulled together to defeat the sales tax. When we spent so much money and the city council spent so much money to get this on the ballot, and they could have saved the money by just listening to the people at the public forum and surveying the businesses to get their opinions.
Absolutely.
So,
Could have.
So I'm very proud of the citizens of Grants Pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Somebody trip Bill Hunker and drag him on over here, would you? So we can say goodnight, Bill.
Good night, Dale.
Yes. Okay, so Bill Hunker is the fellow that joins us often when we're hurting for numbers and charts and graphs and such things.
Right.
He's the reason the sheriff won't talk to us anymore now. It's because Bill was the one that came up with the numbers that showed that it matched with Bill Landis. Bill Landis, the police chief of Grants Pass, said, we thought we were running the wheels off of our cars and picking up, thank you, Bill Kangas, and picking up miscreants, but as it turns out, they weren't. And when they looked back at their own figures, they found out, no, that wasn't right. He confessed that in an open public meeting. And Bill's numbers backed that up. Bill, just as an overall view of this, since you know generally what's happening in the county and in the city, what does this vote mean, and what could it have meant if it had gone the other way?
Well, I'm real pleased to hear that this vote is what it is from the city, because a lot of the county people, I think, felt that, well, the city will cave. The city wants a different kind of county government or city government than the county does. And so we crossed our fingers. But I'm real pleased. 77 is about as strong as it gets.
Yeah.
I mean, the nuisance ordinances are the creme de la creme.
They were 80%, right?
But you get a 78, and you've spoken very loudly.
This is in the same ballpark.
Yeah,
This is a repudiation.
Now, what does this say? Looking at the pattern, this is what we try to do. Look at patterns and trends. What does this say about shifting of the power base from the traditional power brokers to the people themselves who do the voting?
Well, that's a long, slow climb is what I'm seeing, but I couldn't be more pleased with what I'm seeing federal, state, national, in people saying, just a minute, something's got to change here. You guys keep telling us, it's all working. And we go year after year, it's not working. And they understand that. And so even the city here said, just a minute, you're breaking too many rules. I was so amused that they would be willing to have Grants Pass be national news for the only city after, 28, 38 votes for no sales tax in Oregon. It's like, if you're an Oregonian, that's what you start with, is no sales tax. And we're willing to break the mold and be the one whoopee, for the whole nation to know. And I thought, what are they doing? We're separating ourselves both from our county and from our state.
Well, on that kind of thinking, Mike, you got a chance to talk with the mayor, and you asked him a question. Tell us what the question was and what
Yes,
the answer
and
was.
everybody's heard this, but I'll say it again. We were out doing First Friday interviews, as we do sometimes, and the mayor didn't know me from Adam. He didn't know that this was going to end up.
Well, he
on
knew he
Net
had a
10.
camera pointed at him.
Yeah, right. But
movies.
so I asked him. I go, what are you going to do if 6 months after you implement this sales tax, half the businesses in town are going out of business, so they're about to shut their doors? He said, well, we'd probably keep it going for another year or two. I thought, wow.
See how it works out.
That is amazing. The thing is that we all think it's been presented to us that they're doing this for us, for our benefit, for public safety. But in reality, they're doing this so that they can have more money to spend inside their own departments to benefit the people that are in that club. Yeah. That is what is ultimately going on. And they have to float something and say, well, it's going to help public safety. Because it's the favorite underfunded thing, let's underfund public safety and then we'll have a club to beat people with.
Yeah, sell the fear.
Right, exactly.
Well, it's because they've been making decisions literally inside a club. We know the name of the club. And they come up with these decisions that aren't of the people, by the people, for the people. And this time the people took a different kind of club and taught them a little bit of a lesson.
Hopefully.
That was a great quote. You can use that anytime.
Wow, that was amazing.
Just let me write that.
I think you're right about that. I don't know about people. The problem is that government service draws in people who are arrogant and who are.
So does media.
Right, but yeah, that's again a different story. That has people can turn us off.
That's another show.
Or they can be turned off by us.
Yes, right. But the thing is that you have to pay your taxes.
Yes.
And you're going to have to deal with whatever they're putting out. So I would hope that people who don't think that they want to run would run, and people who are not normally inclined to be in public service would choose to do that because. You have better, I think, better character in that pool than you do in the pool. The people that are immediately attracted to running are probably not the best choices, because they're going there for there's a pool of evidence across the street.
Yeah, there's mathematical evidence now
that shows you that situation. So. Yes. I'd say vetting the candidates this is going to be extremely important. You got to get people who, number one, are going to treat people with respect. I mean, we've a few years that I've been paying attention.
Calling people names?
Calling people names and just treating people disrespectfully. I just think we need to get rid of. Needs to be
and how about county commissioners that are now in trouble with the state? Yeah. The state finally enforcing laws. Look, we've got two mayors, the mayor of Cave Junction and the mayor of Grants Pass. We've got two county commissioners. We've got the clerk. I said that. We've got 3 city councilors from Grants Pass. This is potentially a major change. Or potentially a major vote for all of the above. Thanks, we love the way the things are going.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and if they love all the way things are going, then they're not paying attention at all.
Well, they have got to have plenty of choices. It won't matter. They can just close their eyes and throw a dart. And pick somebody that's going to be more of the same.
I'd be interested to know if the city councilors plan on commenting. On this any further in upcoming meetings.
Sorry, say, Rick. Oh yeah, Colleen's here. Wow, cool. Are you willing to give up your chair for a lady?
I absolutely would do that.
She's probably not pregnant, but I mean, you could give up your seat for her.
They're running out in
Yeah.
the parking lot to find her.
Oh, they're
So,
running out in the
But
parking lot.
anyway, Bill, there's been a
Don't
bunch of
run on the
stuff.
street.
I've sent you some videos. You've been treating me badly here. You don't return my phone calls. You don't return my emails. What's going on?
Well, he's such a celebrity now
Yeah.
that it doesn't need our show anymore.
So
I like the gentle way you pull me in.
Yes. Hey, you get over here.
So
that's the kind of show this is.
we've got probably a bunch of topics that we could have you on the show, and I'm assuming that your internet install is going well.
Not at all.
Not
Not heard a sound. And I was going.
Well,
to,
we almost didn't tonight.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
close.
So the moment that happens, yeah.
Awesome.
We'll be
all right.
we'll be back in
We're
touch.
going to talk a little among ourselves about you now.
All right.
Mike, I kind of like the stuff that Bill Hunker does. with
Yeah,
us.
I
Don't be listening to
care
this,
for it
Mike.
much at all.
Bill. I really appreciate the fact that we could be here right across the street. Thank you, Bill. That we could be here right across the street from where the action was taking place over there. And I actually celebrate the idea that Art Harvey decided not to tell us what the vote was. That's okay. It's kind of a running joke now, even though I don't think that's the way he meant it. We are bringing you the news first. Okay, I mean, there's no way around that. Channel 5 was watching us tonight so that they could tell their people how the vote came out because we're the first ones to say so. Okay, we got all the big movers and shakers, Rob Pell, here to come and talk to us. And you notice that when Rob talked, everyone was like dead silent.
Yeah.
They all wanted to hear what Rob had to say. They were almost that way about you, Bill. I think that what we can do now is we can take some of the energy that's been created by this, and I don't mean that we're going to do something with it, but the people can do something with it and say, we don't like being kicked around. We don't like the fact that you're not listening to us when we tell you things. We get up and we give you hours of our time telling you what we think, and you're just getting your opinions from some kind of club meeting. And really, you should be taking it from the real bosses. The real bosses are in these rooms.
Right.
The real bosses are out there that did this vote. And what an impossible turnaround. Who would have thought, it makes me want to pound the table, who would have thought, but it'll all fall apart, who would have thought that we'd be at the spot where the Grants Pass city voters would say no to a tax of any kind?
Yeah, in such percentages.
That's
Amazing.
incredible. And
Amazing.
it's everything that you'd want it to be if you felt this was a bad idea. And it looks like most of you felt that way.
Well, it doesn't look like Colleen is going to come back.
No,
for
so I
us
guess
here.
we'll just say good night.
Yes.
And then we'll be on every night of the week. Every night it's at 7 p.m. as opposed to this evening, and we'll do the best that we can to tell you what the news is, and then you can go elsewhere to look for it if you wish to. But sometimes you're just not going to see it at all.
Yeah, and thanks for tuning in to the program. And in case you hadn't heard, 78%. That's the percentage that the sales tax lost by, and that's fantastic.